It was a seemingly ordinary night at the hotel, but things were about to take a dramatic turn. The police station received an urgent tip-off. The caller claimed that a young man and woman were holed up in a hotel room, engaging in what they described as immoral activities. The report was specific, painting a picture that demanded immediate action. Wasting no time, a police team was dispatched, sirens silent, to avoid alerting their targets. They moved swiftly through the hotel lobby, their expressions serious, their minds set on catching the pair in the act. The hotel staff, caught off guard, could only watch as the officers headed straight for the specified room number. The tension was palpable. Onlookers and staff alike held their breath, wondering what was happening behind that closed door. The police had a warrant and a clear objective based on the complaint they'd received. They positioned themselves outside the room, took a deep breath, and knocked firmly on the door. Inside, the couple was startled by the loud, authoritative knock. They had just settled in for the night, exhausted from a long day of travel. Confused and a little worried, the young man got up and cautiously approached the door. He opened it, expecting to see a room service attendant or a hotel staff member. Instead, he was met with the stern faces of several police officers. The officers' eyes immediately scanned the room, their expressions hardening. Seeing a young man and a woman alone in a hotel room late at night, their initial suspicions seemed confirmed. To them, this looked like a classic case of an illicit affair, exactly as the complaint had described. They were ready to proceed with the assumption that something illegal was definitely going on. The initial impression was strong, and it seemed like this would be an open and shut case. But as we all know, first impressions can be incredibly deceiving. The lead officer stepped forward, his voice firm. "We've received a complaint about this room. We need to see your identification. Both of you." The couple, though shocked and intimidated, complied. They were law-abiding citizens and had nothing to hide, but the sudden intrusion was deeply unsettling. The young man handed over his ID, and the young woman did the same. The officer took the documents and began to examine them closely. His expression, which had been so certain just moments ago, began to change. He looked from the IDs to the couple, then back at the IDs. A flicker of confusion crossed his face. He double-checked the names, the addresses, and then the most crucial detail of all their relationship status. The complaint had alleged an illicit relationship, but the documents in his hands told a completely different story. The truth was starting to emerge, and it was nothing like what they had been led to believe. There, on their official documents, was the undeniable proof. The man and woman were not strangers engaged in a clandestine affair. They were, in fact, a legally married couple. The officers looked at each other, the certainty and suspicion draining from their faces, replaced by surprise and a growing sense of awkwardness. The entire premise of their raid was now collapsing. So why were they here, in this hotel, far from their home? The couple, seeing the shift in the officer's demeanor, began to explain. They weren't from this city. They had traveled here for important work, a series of meetings and errands that couldn't be done remotely. After a grueling day, all they wanted was a quiet place to rest before their journey back home the next day. The hotel was simply a practical choice for two weary travelers. It was a perfectly normal, legitimate reason for any couple to book a room. As the couple explained their situation, their initial fear turned into a deep sense of embarrassment and humiliation. They had done absolutely nothing wrong, yet their privacy had been invaded in the most jarring way possible. Imagine being in their shoes. You're resting with your spouse, and suddenly your room is stormed by police, treating you like criminals. The looks of suspicion they had received, the assumption of guilt, it all left them feeling mortified. They were just an ordinary couple trying to get some rest. Now, they were the center of a dramatic scene, with hotel staff and other guests likely gossiping just outside their door. The situation was deeply uncomfortable. A private moment turned into a public spectacle because of a false and malicious complaint. The police officers, now fully grasping the reality of the situation, felt a wave of regret. They were just doing their job based on a tip, but they had ended up causing significant distress to two innocent people. The lead officer, his tone now completely changed, looked at the couple with sincerity. "We are incredibly sorry," he began. "We were acting on a complaint we received. It appears the information we were given was completely false. We sincerely apologize for this intrusion and the embarrassment we've caused you. It was a rare and necessary moment of humility. The officers understood that their actions, while standard procedure for the given complaint, had deeply affected this innocent pair. To further verify everything, the police spoke with the hotel management. The front desk staff immediately pulled up the couple's booking information. They confirmed that the room was booked under the couple's legal names and that they had presented valid identification and proof of marriage upon check-in. Everything was perfectly in order. The hotel's records completely corroborated the couple's story, leaving no room for doubt. The complaint wasn't just a mistake. It was a deliberate fabrication. With the truth now crystal clear, the police officers turned their attention to the source of the chaos. One of the officers made it very clear, not just to the couple, but for everyone within earshot. Filing a false report is a serious offense. Harassing innocent people like this is not a joke. It's a crime. And it is punishable by law. They assured the couple that they would investigate the source of the malicious tip-off. This wasn't just a simple prank. It was an act intended to cause harm and public humiliation. And the authorities were now determined to hold the responsible person accountable. This statement served as a stark reminder that while the police must act on tips, the system has protections against those who try to abuse it for personal vendettas or cruel entertainment. The message was clear: you can't just weaponize a police complaint without facing consequences. Meanwhile, the scene in the hotel corridor had drawn a small crowd of onlookers, other guests and staff who had been drawn by the commotion. They had all witnessed the police march to the room, assuming the worst. They had whispered among themselves, speculating about the scandal that was about to unfold. But now, as the truth slowly trickled out of the room, their jaws dropped. The story they had imagined, one of secrecy and immorality, was completely wrong. In its place was a story of a married couple being wrongly targeted. The shock was visible on everyone's faces. The dramatic raid had ended not with an arrest, but with an apology. The supposed culprits were actually the victims. This shocking twist left everyone stunned, turning a moment of presumed scandal into a powerful lesson about the dangers of jumping to conclusions and the real-world damage that a single lie can cause. It was a night no one at that hotel would soon forget. So what can we take away from this incredible story? It's a powerful reminder to never judge a situation without knowing all the facts. A malicious rumor, a false accusation, can spiral out of control and cause real harm to innocent people. In this case, a married couple's peaceful evening was shattered, all because someone decided to make a false report. Thankfully, the truth came to light, and the police handled the situation with professionalism once they understood the facts. It also highlights the importance of our laws against filing false reports. These laws exist to protect all of us from being targeted by lies. Let this be a lesson in empathy and responsibility. Before you believe or spread a rumor, think about the real people who could be hurt. What do you think about this whole situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.